Well, a few things highlight determination and spirit, like athletes who have trained their whole lives for one moment.
Pulling together and cheering on our athletes can actually elevate the mood of an entire nation, especially in tough times like these. Jane Piliavin is a UW professor emerita and an expert on the sociology of sports. Welcome to Live at 5. Nice to meet you.
Happy to be here.
So are you watching all of the Olympic competition?
Oh, am I ever.
And as a sociologist, it must be fascinating to see how we're all reacting to this.
Well, it's very common, of course, that people become identified with the teams that they see as representing them. I mean, all of us Badgers identify with the Badgers, and as Americans, we identify with our athletes as well.
Is it a little different for the Olympics? Because a lot of it's individual effort. Do people associate that one-on-one as they would with a team?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Okay.
I don't know that. But my sense is that it's very nationalistic. The people from China are cheering for China, and we're cheering for the United States.
It's Team USA.
It's Team USA, yeah. And whether it's an individual gymnast or the entire basketball team, I don't think it matters that much.
Right.
Well, do you think it's an overstatement to say that it can actually elevate the mood of the country watching something like this when we're successful?
Well, there's actual evidence for that.
Really?
Yes. There was, well, probably the most amusing study on this is one that was done in Germany. And of course, it was done during the European Soccer Championships. And a couple of social psychologists decided it would be fun to ask people questions about their perceived quality of life. You know, it's a pretty big thing, before and after Germany played some games. And the two games that they picked, it turned out they won one of them and they tied the other one. And they randomly assigned people to be interviewed before and after. And for the game that they won, their perceived quality of life was much higher after the game than before.
Interesting.
And the one they tied, it was lower after than it was before. I guess they assumed that they were going to win all of them.
I understand, too, there's studies that testosterone levels actually go up and down with a win or a lose.
That's right. I mean, there's been a lot of evidence that for the participants themselves, when they win, their testosterone goes up, and when they lose, it goes down. But there's two studies that I know of that have shown the same thing with identified spectators.
Interesting.
One of them was a college basketball game, and the other one was a World Cup soccer match.
So when we watch the games and somebody wins, we feel good, and we actually are physically feel good.
Are we living vicariously through them? Is that what's happening?
Yes, that is what's happening. We identify with them. A very funny study started back in the 80s by a man named Bob Cialdini. He found that, well, first he noticed that on the Mondays after Arizona State University won, he taught there was a lot more Arizona colors in the classroom. So he asked 6 colleagues in a variety of universities all around the country to just test this. And they just wrote down what proportion of the students were wearing the school's colors on the morning after football games. And it was true for every single game except one, which I think Michigan tied, and they had expected to lose.
Interesting.
So
watch the games and enjoy.
Yes.
Jane, thanks for being with us.
Very
You're
interesting.
welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.